ready to go. That's how you stay solid in basketball.
Garnett inside, backs it in. What a play from Kevin Garnett. The Boston Celtics on their way to another NBA championship. Celtics embarrassing the Lakers. After a 22-year absence, the Boston Celtics are NBA champions once again. Anything's possible. Anything's possible!
Last year at this time, the Celtics were coming off a 24-win season, and they began their title quest near the Coliseum in Rome, Italy. This year, the Celtics are coming off a 66-win season and their 17th championship, and they begin their quest for a repeat here at the Rogers Recreation Center on the campus of Sol Regina University in Newport, Rhode Island. Quite a contrast for the defending champs, who are the stars of the show today. It's NBA TV Real Training Camp. Boston Celtics, Doc Rivers, former point guard Rajon Rondo, point guard of the Boston Celtics, and they are ready to go here on NBA TV Real Training Camp. And so are we. Hello again, basketball fans. Rick Kamla and Cedric Maxwell, a.k.a. Cornbread. He won a Finals MVP award back in 1981, two-time champion with the Boston Celtics. His number is in the rafters of the new Garden, and he is the radio analyst currently for the Boston Celtics. Cedric, great to be on the air with you. And when you look back, you were in the house, as I was, Game 6 against the Lakers, 39-point thrashing by the Boston Celtics. When you look back at that moment right when the clock hit zeros, what do you think of?
Well, I thought of Magic Johnson not getting another championship there. The Lakers are a team. They always have been a very good team. Kobe Bryant has been sensational for his whole career. But the Boston Celtics were a better basketball club. They challenged them on the defensive end. They made the Lakers do a bunch of different things they didn't want to do. And probably the biggest thing about it, the Boston Celtics were the best defensive team in the NBA. When you play defense consistently with a guy like Kevin Garnett out there, Ray Allen, who finally got his shot on later on, and Paul Pierce, God forbid now, who is a MVP just like me in the playoffs, and I have to tell him that all the time.
And it's always a big deal. What happens to the ball at the end of that championship game?
Oh.
And it came right to you, didn't it?
Well, you know, you're going to make me sick right now. The ball is thrown up in the air, bounces 2 or 3 times, bounces right into my hands, and I'm holding it like this. My broadcast partner is speaking, and all of a sudden I go, I got the ball. I'm holding it in my hand. Sam Cassell runs over, grabs the ball. Come on, Max, give me the ball. Sam, that's a thief right there. That's a thief. That Sam Cassell is showing the picture of him. You owe me money, man. But he was able to get the ball. It was just fun being there, playing with the Boston Celtics, and seeing all the history. Bill Russell in the building. It was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable, and what just fun to be in that arena and be a part of it. The final 4 minutes was just a celebration. The big three, Doc Rivers got the Gatorade shower, football style, and now the quest for the Boston Celtics is a repeat. And this great franchise, the winningest franchise in NBA history in terms of championships, has now repeated since, get this, 68-69. And Kevin Garnett, on repeating, said it is going to be the biggest challenge. I need a couple more short summers like this. I hear you, KG. And Rajon Rondo said, let's try to make more history.
Well, you want to make more history, but you look at the Boston Celtics, those first 2 rounds against the Atlanta Hawks, 4-3. You look at Cleveland, 4-3. The Boston Celtics did not win, and I can't believe that. They did not win a road game until they really played against Detroit in the conference finals. Unbelievable to see the Celtics able to win it in that fashion.
And it was Game 5 at Detroit. Weren't they down 10 early in the fourth quarter? And they come back and they win that game, setting up then a closeout game for themselves in Game 6 to make the finals. And for me, I know I was questioning their ability to win the championship, having not won a road game. No team in NBA history had ever won a championship without winning a road game in the playoffs. So you have that ominous stat. They got that monkey off their back in Game 5 against Detroit. And then for me, and I think a lot of people in the basketball world, it was like, okay, you just went into Detroit and won Game 5. Now I can take you seriously as a championship contender.
Yeah, I mean, because you had to win one on the road. You see this practice they talk about. Doc Rivers is now about to bring everybody up. I'm sure we're going to get a chance to hear what he says. But this is just the worst of times and the best of times for NBA players at this time of the year when you have to go back to camp.
Well, Doc Rivers starting his 5th season as head coach of the Boston Celtics, recently extended, and here he is.
Hey, great practice yesterday until the end. turnovers, we're awful ball over at an amazing rate, all right? So we just got to take care of the basketball. And, you know, I was excited at first because I thought it was our defense, but it's more we're trying to thread the needle too much. You know, I 5 to 10 times where a guy was open on the post and all we had to do was throw it to the wing, all right, to make it a simple pass. Instead, we're trying to squeeze passes in. We don't need to do that, all right? We just got to be more solid with the basketball, all right? The turnovers are really hurting us right now, and they hurt us last year as well, so we got to do a better job. Other than that, the speed of practice was great. I do want to walk over one thing. Armand, the two teams that ended the game yesterday, that last play, I want to walk into that play because I want to talk over foul to give. Yeah.
Davey, you got Scal. Yeah.
You were here, Rondo. You were down the baseline.
Hey.
Rondo, you were on the baseline. You're on the baseline. Yep. Yep.
Who was guarding Darius? Last group yesterday. All right, we're talking about it. Foul to give, all right? We got a foul to give. We want to commit a foul. We're up 3. They have the ball. What was on the clock, Tom? How much time? 5.2. You know, looking at it, Glenn, I thought it would have been very difficult for you to commit to foul. Why? Because he was facing the basket, all right? Now, once he put that ball on the floor, you had a chance, but even that would have been tough. Where we should have fouled was Gabe, all right? Why? And what else? He caught the ball with his back to the basket, all right? So if we're trying to commit a foul, there's 5 seconds left in the game, we're up 3, and we've decided we're not going to give the team a chance. Rondo is coming up. Gabe, you got to cut tight right here, throw it. That's the foul now. And you can't, it got to be a foul. All right? You can't give him the opportunity to turn and throw it. You got to wrap him up. His back's to the basket. There's no way he can get that off, and it's 2 shots. All right, now stop it there. Gabe didn't foul, okay? This was the play. Tony came off, baby, because he had to help. It allowed Scal to pop. Right now, baby, there's no way you can foul that, all right? Having said that, Scal then put the ball on the floor, and right when he puts it on the floor, that's when you can grab him, all right? You were kind of coming at him, so it was tough. But that's the foul. That's a tough foul. And we can't commit that foul when the guy, even if we tell you to, that guy's facing that basket. I don't want that foul, okay? I'd rather trust our defense, stay down, and try to contest the shot. He made a tough shot anyway, all right? Let's go to jump ball, all right? Get the first unit out. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah.
On top of everything. You're back. Okay, we're always protecting our back. The main thing, you guys want to be matched up with the guys who's guarding in here. We're always matched up. Kevin's in protect, just like the defensive transition. Nothing easy. The big thing here is to make sure, like when we're playing against guys like Karolinko, they're always looking. Paul does this all the time. They're always slipping in front. You've got to be down and ready. When that ball goes up, you've got to step into the body. Make sure that we have contact. Okay? First, you got to make sure you're down and ready. When you go up, get that tip, get it on the bottom half of the ball. Protect the ball, hold your spot. Okay, hold your spot. Okay, bring it down.
What you say?
Bring it down here. Come ball here. Come ball here. Defensive tip.
They can't see it. They ain't gonna show it all.
Same thing here. Tony, be here. You're here. You're back here. run in for a second. Okay? So we're in protection. And here's the thing we have to do. And TA, come in a little bit tighter. Okay? So this is the pocket we're creating for purpose potential. We have to create this pocket. The important thing that we have to do in this situation is we have to be matched up with the guy that we're guarding. And we're going to cover when the jumper is not the same guy. And so this is what we're doing. The important thing, again, when the ball is thrown up, okay, and my imaginary throw, again, stepping into this guy, create this pocket, right? And it's just like a block. This is going to be a fight. Sometimes they're going to go, you know how it is, and sometimes they're going early. You got to step across the body. Go ahead, Tia, just stay there. Right there, you seal it. Okay, so now we got this whole area here to come and get the ball. We get possession. The most important thing is to get possession. Okay, then Ronald comes back, gets it, or Ray can bring it up. But getting possession is the most important thing first, then we look to attack.
Tom, stop it right there. And on the other end of that, on the offensive end, all right, if we're, Tony, that's why the seal is so important for both sides. Eddie, the same thing for you right now. You're sealing too, and your guys are trying to get a cut. Okay? So it goes both ways. We're always in the defensive jump, 9 times out of 10. You know, I think, Mike, you were talking about it. One time last year, we actually ran an offensive play from a jump ball because you were jumping against a guard. Other than that, for the most part, we stayed in a defensive jump. We'd rather just get the ball in and then run our stuff. There will be times where there's low clock offensively, and we might run a play. But if we're going this way, all right, we want to seal as well. Okay, you got to seal this guy. Don't forget this won a game for us. All right?
Stay right there. Now we're saying that it's different. So Ray is in, he's jumping. Okay? And we're going to say, Dave, I want you right here. Okay? We're like this. And Paul, this is going to be your guy. Okay? Again, the same principles, and I want you to be over on this side. Okay? You're right here. Yeah, I want you to come here. Okay? And we're aligned up. Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Stay where you are, Paul. Okay? Yeah. Kevin, I want you right here. And I want to say that this is a great plan. Okay? So this is what we have right here. Okay? There's no one here. Here's our cup. Okay? The important thing is you're matched up with the guy you're guarding. Okay? So Paul, you're here. John, you're there. Who has the problem? Ray's got the mismatch because he's going here and inside. So what if we're using Kevin? We're saying, Kevin, Sam's a great player with Paul. Okay? We know Kevin's versatility. Okay? Until we can switch back and get Ray back onto the 2, Kevin will be here. But again, and envision this. Envision this like down range, a center big. So obviously we've got to make it quick. But what we don't want is exactly what you guys were just talking about. He gets the tip, goes to the open man. So we know that we got to get Kevin and Ray switch back. But you're running a great player. You're staying that short man. Part of your match up with the other big that short man. There's no screw-ups there. Okay? So again, and the same thing. And here's the thing. I want you guys to realize about this. Big advantage, right? So we're saying division 7-6. Great. Don't be afraid to go early. Okay? Try to steal the tip. Okay? The worst thing happens is there's a violation. It's out of bounds. And now we set our defense. The other thing, Paul, you do this great. Again, same thing with you. It's not as expensive giving them something easy, but if you want to take a chance and jump in there, go ahead.
Hey, listen, I'm going to interrupt. There's one exception. Late game.
Yeah.
No, late game. When we don't have time to give them.
Right.
You know, if it's a low clock, you got to be careful with that. So late game situations, you got to know clock and score. If we need clock, we can't get a violation here. We got to, you know, if it's a low clock, we got to take, because if you get a violation, it goes back to 14 when you give them more time. So fourth quarter, late game situation, you guys got to know the difference. For 3.5 quarters, in most cases still, all right? But late game, we got to know that, all right?
So Mike throws the ball up, the same thing. Okay, wherever it goes, now if it goes right there,
Because that's when it's going to happen.
Hey, pop out. So again, make that pass. Yeah, get back. Ray, get out. So once we get the ball over to one side of the floor, Rajan's up. Okay, now we get that switch over back up. Okay, and again, we don't want you to be going out to the small, right? We want you to get your hands up there. Okay, I
Yeah. Let's go free throw line. Hey, one point I want to make, and Kevin just brought it up, and you know, when I fouled Scal, I want to show you the difference. He put it on the floor. Don't do this. All right? What did I do? From the top, over top. So when he put it on the floor, I'm grabbing here. There's no way he's getting that up. If you remember 2 years ago, LeBron James got a 3-up on us. We committed the foul. He was strong enough to get it up. And I think it went in. And they said he was not in the act of shooting. So you got to go above those shoulders as much as you can so it doesn't go. Go free throw line. So, Ray, you can get that up, Coach. The hell, man. LeBron got Paul. LeBron let the ball bounce.
Okay, you guys can't. We got called for some violation coming in early. You can't come in at all until it's released out of his hand. Make sure the release is first first. Okay, on the release of the shot, these are conventional blockout. Okay, Kevin's one-on-one, Murphy's one-on-one, ball goes right to the middle, right here. Okay, on the release, your first responsibility, Ray, you're tighter. First responsibility is to check first to make sure they're not crashing. If they don't crash, you're coming in right to the elbow. And we always want ball on the side of the net, offensive rebound. Okay? And Ray, come on into the elbow. Go back and on every free throw, it should look like this. And anything long, okay, engage, guard, come in, get me in the play. Ball, if you feel like you have to shake, you're shaking there, Ray, you can pull in more here. Okay? But again, no second shots. You got to drive it back. Okay?
At one point, for the two guards, the rebounds we are looking for you to get and Ray to get is this rebound and that rebound. Okay? Because if it does go long, I think you got a better angle. If you're boxing them out right and have contact, Perk, I think our guards can get there. But we got to clean this one up and that one up. All right? No. Let's stretch. Let's stretch.
Down here.
You remember when? No.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Move to.
So, Max, it is all about the details. Doc Rivers, Tom Thibodeau as assistant coach, Kevin Eastman, everybody there, going through some details, jump balls, end-of-game situations that, you think the defending champions would have down. But they're still sweating the details here, trying to get that repeat.
Well, you do. If it's the small things that are going to win or lose basketball games for you. Unfortunately for me, that was not my forte. I hated that. NBA basketball to me, and that's why I probably couldn't be an assistant coach, because it's the monotony of actually doing it, being there, and learning those plays, and trying to get yourself and make yourself better. That was the difference between a great player like a Larry Bird and they're also wrong like myself. Those guys took it really serious all the time and understood that practice sometimes makes you better. For me, it was just boring. I just was like, I just hated it.
Well, there are some guys who are practice players. There are some guys who are game day players. Kevin Garnett obviously is a practice player.
I like that part.
Max, the stud to my right would be the latter, a game day player, and what a game day player you were. Now, led by Kevin Garnett, the Defensive Player of the Year, first Celtic, by the way, ever to win that award. The Celtics had the best defense in the NBA last year. The numbers were superlative. They allowed 42% shooting to the opposition. They allowed only 90.3 points per game, and they had a plus 10.2 in point differential for the season. That is remarkable.
Well, let me break that down to you. And what that means when you have that differential in points in 10, it means you don't have to shoot as well as the other team every single day. If you're able to get stops every day, your offense doesn't have to play as well. But defensively, if you bring it every single night, and that's what the Celtics did. They brought it every single night, rebounding, blocking shots, blocking out. The small details we talked about before are the huge differences between winning and losing. Kevin Garnett is the anchor of what that basketball team has done on the defensive end, blocking shots and making things happen that way, and the outlets. Perk has grown bigger. Rondo controlling the initial point of attack, to me, is probably just as key. And he will grow and he will be better this year because he will know more of the nuances about playing that particular position. And to me, it's the toughest position in basketball. Not only are you trying to get your shot, but you're trying to lead others at the initial point of attack.
And the two young guys you mentioned, Kendrick Perkins, led the team in blocks last year at 1.5 per game, and that man, Rajon Rondo, led this team in steals at 1.7. He is one of the premier thieves in the NBA, and we are returning to Newport, Rhode Island in just a moment. We're on the campus of Saul Virginia University, the preseason home for the Boston Celtics. They're here today on NBA TV Real Training Camp. NBA TV Real Training Camp, Boston Celtics back on the air from Newport, Rhode Island to look at some of the mansions here. An absolutely beautiful city nestled here on the eastern seaboard of New England, and just the drive here was very, very impressive. Ivy everywhere you look. Rick Hamlin, Cedric Maxwell, a.k.a. Cornbread here, checking out the Celtics, going through some stretching exercises right now before they practice. And I want to bring you a couple of tidbits. Doc, at the beginning of training camp, had 2-a-days. He said, not so much. They've gone down to one long practice per day, not unlike what Byron Scott does in New Orleans. We were just there a couple of days ago. And regarding the big three, he said they will not play very much in the preseason at all. He said the last couple of games, they're really going to get it fired up. And they obviously had the practice off this morning to the Boston Celtics. It was originally scheduled. Now they're going to go today. They're going to have a scrimmage coming up here in just a little bit. So we've talked a lot about last year, looking ahead to repeat. Let's talk about some of the changes that Danny Ainge, reigning executive of the year, has done with this Boston Celtic team. And you see Darius Miles, yes, he lives. He has not played the last 2 years. He is trying to make this team. Patrick O'Brien didn't work out with Golden State. He is actually starting right now, playing with the first unit with Kendrick Perkins a little bit banged up. 2 draft picks, Bill Walker and J.R. Giddens. And then we get to James Posey, and we just saw him down in New Orleans with his new team, the Hornets. He's got a shiny new contract and probably a shiny new car or two via that contract. Pose, in my opinion, was the puzzle. You get the big three, I get that. But you need that stud off the bench. You need that guy that can throw those daggers in the hoop late in the game. You need a guy that can guard several positions and just be a leader, and now he's gone.
Well, he's a guy who did not need the basketball to be effective. He could shoot the basketball from the outside, but he made people guard. He was big enough that he was able to guard big and small people. He took more charges than anybody on this basketball club. And the big thing about Posey, which I really like, was his basketball IQ of knowing what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. That's one of the things you don't see enough in the NBA. I mean, this is the thing about basketball players. There's a different level. Pose was like a universal joint. If you had James Posey in a situation where you had him, you could use him like that Lego piece that could fit into anything. That was James Posey. When you didn't have that piece, those Lego pieces just remained on the ground.
Man, I haven't played with Legos in over 30 years.
Well, that just told you what my life is about. Get a life. Legos.
And I've got 2 young ones too. I don't know that universal Lego piece yet. I'm going to try to figure that out. But James Posey is in the NBA vernacular a glue guy, and I know the Hornets are absolutely psyched to have him. I am of the opinion that the ad of James Posey takes that team to the next level, not unlike what it did last year to the Boston Celtics. I think the Hornets are going to the finals because of the Posey ad, and I think it's going to be tough for the Boston Celtics to get back to the finals. I'm not saying they won't. I'm just saying the task becomes that much more difficult to get back to the finals and or repeat without James Posey. His impact was that important.
Well, I think what you're going to have is 2 or 3 guys who are going to have to take his spot. One guy will not do what James Posey's going to do. What you have is Tony Allen, who has tremendous quickness. He's a guy who is very athletic, can do a lot of different things, but has to start thinking the game a lot more than just reacting out on the floor. I like him as a player. You have Sam Cassell, who is back, who's coming back. But I think bigger than that, you think about all the other guys who have to fill maybe his shoes. And when you think about trying to fill his shoes, shooting from the outside, you have a guy like Eddie House who's able to knock down jump shots. Can Scalabrine step in off the bench and give you quality minutes? These are the problems for the Boston Celtics. We're a chance to see Eddie House here. Eddie House, one of the best shooters. Now you see a guy like Scalabrine shooting the basketball, can get it done, but was reluctant to shoot it from time to time. It's going to be the fringe basketball players, not the big three, unless they have injuries. It's going to be those fringe players who are going to have to make up the difference with James Posey not being here.
And there is good news on Tony Allen. He is feeling great and looking great after all of those knee issues. Doc Rivers is mic'd up, so is Darius Miles and Paul Pierce. Let's listen in now to Doc.
And then the game change. All right. All right. Cool. It's going to add up. Nice. I'm going to be good tonight off this Ray Allen. Good passes, good passes, good passes. Come on. Let's go.
4 in a row. 55.
Hey.
66. 66. 67. 68. 68. 69. 70. 71. 72. 3 in a row. 4. 34. 75.
No, me.
What's you say, right? What? Oh, no. I won't miss.
81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 88, 89, 90.
Post wheel, Armand. Post wheel. No, just one side. One end. Split it up, split it up, split it up. Let's go. Switch lines, switch lines. Switch lines.
Good pass, good pass. Elbows up, bust down. Push your layup. Head up. Elbows up, bust down. Head up. Good. Elbows up, bust down.
Down.
One step higher. Come on. Elbows up. Bust down.
Take it.
Come on. Don't give it to him till he gets set. To big. Ready.
Post up higher.
Let him get there. Come on, B. Sit down. Good. Good, sit. Let him get there, guys. Let him get there. Sit down. Good. There you go. Get to that first ball. Get to that first ball. Put that base side.
Yeah, we're going to go another man. Yeah, it will be. Yeah, I'll call you. I'll tell you.
Let him get there. Big, sit. All right. Come on, sit. Good. Let him get there. Good. Come on. Good. There you go. Sit on that big. Elbows up. Good. Elbows up. Let him get there, Dave. Sit. Give him a target. Look. Good. Target. There you go. Hey, post that. Good.
Green ball. We're gonna go punch. White on defense. Post Diggs. Same thing. Live on the catch. We're allowing the post guy to catch it. All right. Guarding the ball handler, throwing it to the post. We want to make that pass difficult. Okay. We don't want to just let him get it in. Kevin or whoever the big guarding, we want you to 3-quarter, but we want you to allow the catch. On the catch, is live. All right, on the catch, 18 seconds on the shot clock. No, just half only, half only. Tony, I want to make the pass tough. All right? No, Leon's allowing the catch, but we got to work on being able to throw that pass so you can have active hands. All right, let's go. That was my fault, Tony.
Good, not turning. You got it. Right there. There you go. Good.
Nice.
Sit down, hold, not turn. Now you got it. There it is, all.
Nice. Good D, Leon. That's good D.
Don't fight with it, just get good. Sit down and give it work. Pull yourself.
Hey, listen. He's had 2 and 3 dribbles. He hasn't made one pass yet. I think we can get better digs. All right? Let's make him a passer too.
He don't even jump, huh?
Glenn Davis. We don't play that way, right? All right, don't do it now.
Post up, Pat.
Let's be solid. Let's be solid on defense.
Let's go. Maybe Griffin there once in a while.
Hey, JR. Hey, take it back. Take it back to the top. JR, you can't turn your back on your offensive player. All right? You know what I'm saying? Paul's right here. You got your back to him. You can't do that, okay? Yes, you're digging. You can see both. You can see right here. I can see him. I can see him. I can reach down. I can dig it out. Patrick, if Patrick dives, he's on my man. I can get back up here and meet him, all right? But you can't turn your back on him, okay?
See man and ball, both. See both.
On the touch, release your dig. Go with the cup. The next man replaces and becomes a dig out.
Hey, listen, what Tom is saying, we can't turn our head, all right? That's what you did. That's what, where is that? JR, you've done. You can't turn your head on the dig and lose sight of your own man, okay? Let's go. Nice. Really play that game with him, all right? You're guarding Ray and him, okay? Good job. One more time. Let's put Patrick down there. Kevin and Patrick switch spots. Yeah, well, you don't want to step up. You want to step and help. Yeah, because now we don't want to deny the pass. Then you get the first pass. Yeah, all right.
Here we go, pressure, Eddie, ball pressure. Get on it, come on, baby.
Nice, Eddie. Eddie, that was exactly what we just said, right there. That's perfect. Let's go.
Take care of that ball, man.
Make your move.
Grip him in there.
Nice. Last one, Patrick. Throw it back out and repost. I know he's a big fucker, but he's got you way out here. All right? You got to fight for position. That's your block.
They said something.
Go repost.
Sub in.
Remember that.
He said, wait.
Don't fight with it. Just come in. Stop. Don't do nothing. Swivel. Get him on.
Just keep playing, all right? Just keep playing. One more
Come on,
time.
Pat.
Yeah, you sub when
Don't
you
want to do it, but we gotta. We gotta pull away from practice for just a bit, but we're coming back much more NBA TV Real Training Camp. Boston Celtics coming up from Newport, Rhode Island, right after these words. And we welcome you back to beautiful Newport, Rhode Island. Celtics training camp here on NBA TV's Real Training Camp. And Regina University, the preseason home of the Boston Celtics, warming up for the first preseason game in their title defense Wednesday, October 8th, against the 76ers in Amherst. And right now, let's get it back down on the floor. And that man, Doc Rivers.
Right here, there's no spacing. Stop moving around sometimes. Sometimes not moving is better than just running around. I want space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. All right? It's simple, okay? Green ball. Point, slice, slice. White, grab a ball.
White, you ready? Come on. Three trips.
God, we got to get him just to slow down. He's going some Yeah, that's true.
Be sharp. Get that extra pass. Too low now. Too low. Hey. Look again. Good.
Just two teams, just sub in. Yeah. Or we can go 3 with Perk playing. So just make a third team for right now. Huh? Yeah. That way Sam's got to go. You still don't. We got guard.
Let's go, Perk. Get up. Come on now. Come on now. We got to get a little hard.
Yeah, basically. That's more true than you know. Point, slice, slice.
Sprint back, man. Sprint back. First thing up. Step up, big. Good. Now look at it. Look at it. Bang. All right. Good.
Leon, throw that ball. Throw the ball.
Good spacing right. Show him that spacing right. Third group ready. You went to the corner. Good. Come on. Good. There you go. Sam. Good. Sam. You the third group.
Nice.
Get back in there.
Nice. Point, slice, slice. Let's get our cuts now. We're loose.
All right. Watch it. Let it take place. Give it 2 looks. Good. Give it a look.
Nice pass, Cal. Point, slice, slice.
You gonna be on?
Good movement. Keep it space. Push it up, Gabe. Push it up. Go get him. Come on, Gabe. Point four, dribble. Point 4, dribble. Dribble. Dribble again, dribble. Nice. Point 4, dribble.
All right, come on, back Vicky. Slide. Good, all right, go. Good, now there you go. Good. Wait, dribbling, Eddie. Good. Good pick, good. Sharp, come on, be sharp. Look at it. Good, Eddie. Go.
Point 4, dribble. Better pass, Patrick. Harder passes. Nice cut. Nice. Get Patrick on the post. Get Patrick on the post.
Go to work, big fella.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Hey, .4 again. I want to
Yeah,
hit the
gotta
point
jump,
guard
no.
popping into pick and roll.
Like some tear down.
Invert, 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 invert. Nice. And really, it's mostly Leon. But on .4, you know,
Yeah,
it's
right.
you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter which guy. So if you throw it to Leon, you're going to pick Baby. If you throw it to Baby, you're going to pick Leon. With those two guys, it doesn't matter. I would go with matchups. All right? We don't ever call .4. Well, unless they don't run .4. Then you'll call it. Leon. Let's do it again. What did we just say? Into what? Come on. Let's watch the group in front of you. Nice. Invert. Open up, big. Open up after the pick on the invert. Open up after the pick. Open up. Nice. Good reject. Good action. Into pick and roll, Pat. Go get him. Roll up, Billy. Nice. Invert.
No, I want him just tear it down.
Nice.
This. You know what I'm saying?
Invert. Point down, invert. Let's come off one of the inverts with no shot.
What is this?
Point down.
What's down there?
Nice. Invert. Nice, great.
Kendrick Perkins looking good with the mash, and he had shoulder surgery after the finals. That's good news to see him getting up and jamming it down. I'm getting a vibe here at practice. They're working hard, no doubt about that. And Doc Rivers really a stickler for the details, staying on his guys, wants that focus, and they could lose that focus after winning a championship, and he is staying on them, and there's really a precise manner in which he's going about this practice right now. I've been impressed.
Well, very impressed with that, but I'm probably more impressed right now with the leadership of your veteran players. I think that's the key to it. When you have a Kevin Garnett, a Paul Pierce, or Ray Allen, these guys are leaders already, and the younger players are going to follow suit. You see Kevin Garnett, one thing he's told young players all the time, if you're going to get out here and practice, you're going to get as much out of your practice as you will in a game. So you have to get out and do all those little things that you would do in practice, and those things will come back and they will come to fruition in the game.
And Ray Allen is obviously an extension of Doc Rivers in that regard in terms of staying focused and sweating.
How about
the
staying in
details.
shape right now?
Now, he looks great. I mean, Ray Allen always looks fantastic.
33 years old?
33 years old in his second year with the Celtics, 13th year in the NBA. Dude shot 40% from three last year. He's made the All-Star team 8 times, in 8 of the last 9 years. It's really a broken record with Ray Allen, and I thought it was really key for him and KG and Paul Pierce to all sacrifice stats for the greater good, and it worked out in the tune of a championship.
Well, that's what championship teams do. Even the greatest team of all time, the Dream Team, that team sacrifices stats individually to collectively be a unit and become the greatest team of all time. This is what this team wants to do. They want to get away from all those stat hogs of knocking down jump shots, individual things. Oh, they've done all those things. That's what Paul Pierce and Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett said. What they had not done is played in the NBA Finals. What they had not done was put a ring on their fingers. What they want to do again is essentially get another ring and put it on. And again, it starts at the top. Your veteran players, your leaders on the floor will give you that. You see Paul Pierce average 19 points a game. Kevin Garnett, 18 points a game. Ray Allen, 17. These guys are multifaceted in shooting the basketball. But again, it's not what they do on the offensive end. It's what they're going to do collectively as a unit defensively. And we talked about Gene Posey. How will that really come into play with a guy who is interchangeable with all those guys out on the floor and not having them? And who steps up to take that particular role?
And you see right there, none of those guys averaging 20 PPG or better last year. The year before, not playing together, all 3 of those guys averaged more than 20 points per game. Matter of fact, I think Ray Allen's points per game was like 26 in his last year with the Seattle Supersonics. And I want to go back and talk about one of the greatest stories within the story of last year's finals, and it involves Ray Allen and his son Walker. And it's just amazing to me. Remember Game 5, Ray Allen did not play well, and we didn't know about Walker at the time. What is up with Ray Allen? We find out that his son was in the hospital, diagnosed with diabetes. He was very, very sick. They had to get him to the hospital. Ray did not fly back with the team on Sunday night. He had to fly back the next night, and then the game was Tuesday, Game 6. Shows up bleary-eyed, obviously with a heavy heart. His son was with him in the house for Game 6, and he obviously celebrated the championship with Walker. But Ray Allen goes from not playing well in Game 5 with his mind totally distracted to dropping 26 points in Game 6 to win his first championship and restore order from the Boston perspective and getting their first title in 22 years. It's an absolutely amazing story, and I'm wondering if you've sort of followed up a little bit, if everything's still cool with Walker. But I just wanted to go back and relive that story a little bit, and just how difficult it was for Ray Allen to balance the off the court and on the court while trying to win a championship.
Well, when you talk about your family and your family having problems, I think that's the biggest thing, because you want to, that's the first thing first, your family. Then basketball. You can see Ray talking. He's always had a smile on his face. But that particular week, you could see Ray, there was a little change in his body language, as we talked about before, wasn't as good. And Ray Allen really is a guy who's always been smiles with everyone. He's come back as a player at that particular time, fought that off, made sure his son was okay, got everything done there, and then got his mind back to basketball. And because of his teammates, too, understood the situation. The organization understood. Sometimes you lose focus and say, what's going on? Oh, it's about basketball, about winning championships. But eventually you learn that it's not always about basketball. Sometimes it's about a player's personal life, what goes in, what goes out. And as a unit, what you want to do, you become a family. And you are you're immersed in everybody's life and what they're doing.
And Ray Allen, obviously a great guy off the court and a Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer on the court. And let's go back to practice right now.
Way to go. Have one foot in front. GA, you're going to be in lock and trail. Have contact, give them one way to go. We don't want to be playing these guys like this. Get down here, get low, drive into him, your ear right to his shoulder, chest area. You're driving him through. Get in that position. Okay.
Much as you
Just
can.
we're going lock and trail right now. Okay? We're going to do the drill first, then we're going to go live. Okay? You're attached, and same thing. You guys got to be above your head. Just like this, you're reading the ball. Get attached. 1 foot behind, your ear to his chest. You got good ball pressure.
Leon, same thing.
Okay, lock and trail, and you're reading the ball. Come on off the first one. Tony, don't get like that. You got to be right here. Okay? Keep coming. Come on. Stop right there. Every time they do this, a guy like Paul who's stepping up here, you got to make sure you stay right on his body. You're just like this. Go ahead, stay there. Take a walk back over. ready, here comes, stop right there, here comes, take it back here. TA's got to drive down, he's got to get his hips straight right there. He's got to get this shoulder below the swinger's head. Get it down real low.
Hey, Tom, stop it right there. Eddie, offensively, defensively, Leon, you know which side. You can read this. That's why Tom was telling you to make sure you see this guy. All right? Because Rajon's going to dribble into the slot. All right? Now you pretty much know right now which side the pass is going to, correct? All right.
Okay, so he's right here. You're reading the ball. You're attached together just like this.
I always do. I think that's why y'all can't get him if he fades.
Okay, as Rajon comes down, okay, stay right there. Eddie, you're going to read what he's doing. You know he's looking this way. You want to get that hand out there. Okay, boy, you're staying out just hold a second. Okay,
You got a lock and trail team and stay middle.
Ready comes to the elbow. We're getting this
I'll tell you.
up. He makes it very screen. He's getting back to front. Baby, as the ball's in the air, your feet are just like this. Okay, when the ball's in the air, you're sliding up to the elbow. Right to this area. Come on to the self area. Yes, he's in a lock and trail. Ball's in the air. Leon's not waiting. He's pulling all the way across. Gabe is sinking in. Okay? All you're doing, Eddie, you're flying to the elbow. We're waiting the ball. Throw. Slide away just a little bit. Stay right there, Rajon. He's sprinting to the elbow. Stop right there. Kevin, drop down just a little bit. Stay right there, Eddie. We're going a lot slower than we would. Come back a little bit. Okay, he's going to touch it back. When he touches it back, you want to touch it back? Everyone's firing it back. Now, Leon, you can't wait. You're trying to bait. So when the ball's in the air, you're sprinting all the way across. You're sinking in. Right onto his leg. Now you're coming back here. Okay, throw it to Ray. You're posting up. Stay there, Rajon. Stay there. Just look up.
We're not going through the pick and roll part of the defense. I just don't want to show out that. Yeah.
Okay, now he's going to get this rip. Okay, so it's sloppy. Rip, he started outside. So you're calling out the rip. Your job is to zone. You're just like this. As soon as he hears rip, rip coming right up to his body, he's going to swivel and stay attached. Stay attached. Stop right there. Rip, be beside the big. Stop right there. Always has the responsibility of this. The fast he cut, he's got his tag. You're going to pull it in. Well, you're going to be working your way out of the middle. Okay? Now you're coming off right, you're coming off on this side. You got
Yeah,
fire
but
in
we're
the
short.
side. Stay right there.
We're not going to do it. We're
Okay, stop right there. Look at the elbow. Don't worry about that. Okay, you're coming here. You're pulling across. You got to stay
on top of the leg, Gabe.
You're on top of his leg. Kick it back.
Now you're working your way back. Nice.
And we stop right there.
All right. Hey, listen. We're not going to do that drill. We just want to walk over the floppy. All right? We're going to run our floppy now, live. All right? You ready? Let's go. Yeah.
We live?
Live.
From the jump?
Just half court only.
Yeah,
all right? Hey, you got to get 3 stops. Pick and roll, a regular floppy.
Get it tall. Lock it low. Get one way to go. One way to go. One way on. Good. Way to go, son. Way to go. Good. Get up, go in. Get up, go in.
When you get off.
Where's Leon on that? I didn't see it. Did he call it? Did he call it pick and roll?
No, nobody said anything.
Oh, ticket.
Hey, Tom, I hear you and I hear Cliff. I don't hear anybody on white.
You're right. That's why.
I haven't heard one thing from the white team. All right?
The pass, right?
Lock and trail. Go,
Gabe, you got to keep coming.
Yeah, I'm thirsty.
You got to keep coming. If you get hit, you got to keep coming. Get low, and when you get to the pick, push them off. Push through.
Wanted it, Gabe. Come on.
Ray's getting open easy.
Get down. Get down. Go. Swivel.
Tom. Get him lower. Get Gabe lower.
Double screen right here, right?
Nice, Gabe. That's it. Nice defense. Nice defense. That's 2. We count y'all play. That's 2. Hey, Gabe, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Good call out, baby.
Get low, get low, get low. Get low, get low.
Thanks, T.A. My bad.
Let's go again. That's 3.
I want to stop.
No, that's 2. That wasn't a stop. Let's go.
That's a stop.
Started at 18, Todd. Keep coming. Keep coming, Gabe. Nice. Get up there. Keep going, Gabe. Keep going. Nice. There you go, Gabe. Tony. Did I say 3 or 4? 3.
The people of Newport walking around like they don't have a care in the world. And it's all blood and guts here inside the Rogers Recreational Center here on the campus of Salve Regina University. We're coming right back. Last year, the Celtics won their first championship in 22 years. This year, they're looking to repeat for the first time in 40 years. It's NBA TV Real Training Camp, Boston Celtics from the Rogers Recreational Center here in Newport, Rhode Island on the campus of Salve Regina University. See, Cedric, recreational was not that difficult to say. Let's get you back to the practice. They're going to wrap this thing up here in about 10 minutes, and they have a scrimmage coming up here tonight.
Good. Talk, guys. You talk, you help you. Get up. Talk. You can wait.
Nice. Turn around. Hey, Eddie and Sam, Eddie and Tony, y'all keep switching back and forth. Gabe, you too. Any of you 3 can handle the ball on floppy. Lock the tail. Nice. Way to move the ball, Gabe. Where to gap it. That's perfect.
Hey.
That's perfect.
Hey. Way to move without the ball.
One way, Scal. One way. Get on the top side. Ready to make the play. Good. Read the ball. Sam, ball pressure. Good. Come on, baby.
Swing it.
Stay back.
No good. One stop. Hey, that ball, you can move it to the weak side. Let's go.
Freeze frame. Let's go. Sit.
Tony, you handle that.
Yeah, Sam.
Let's go, Green. Let's go down here.
Take it down. Come on, big fella.
Good work.
You want right? Right, you.
What is it, one stop?
Oh, you good. You good.
That weak side man got to get off.
Hey, Scal. See, I think you're on the wrong side. Come back over here. Gabe, come here. Personally, here's one pick. Leon said, I would never start on this side. To me, you know, he's going to go over a pick anyway. So to me, if you start right here, even if you're down, you're giving him a running start. I'm getting on the inside. I'm right here. So now he's going this way. All right? Just force him. And if he tries to go back, you're big enough. All right?
Same pace, White. Don't drop.
Get low to that hip, Scal. Low to that hip. Yes. Nice, nice. Tough pass, Eddie. The thought was good, but that's a tough pass. Hey, you threw to the wrong side. All right, that's all right.
Yes, Cal. Yes, Cal. Yes, Cal.
Show. They don't read it. Like, Eddie should have been open on that play. Big, but Tony was still playing with the basketball. And you know what I'm saying? He's got to get to the slots. He's got to, what I used to do, you just trace the guy you want to get to the ball. You know, it ain't both of them. You're just reading Eddie right now, and it ain't that hard. You know you're trying to get the ball to Eddie, you know? That's 3, you got to get 4. Hey, Tony. Who are you tracing right now offensively? Right, so don't worry. I mean, obviously, if he's open, wide open, you want to throw it just like with Ray. You're tracing Eddie. So if Eddie's coming to this side, you're coming. If Eddie's coming this way, you're coming. Yeah, that's who we're trying to get the ball to.
You get this ball right here.
Yeah, you're just tracing him.
Big though.
Good talk.
Hey, simple. I'll take the shot, number 1, with the pass.
4.
All right.
How many of y'all want to
Floppy
get
down. Floppy down. Green ball.
Ray, get the ball, Ray. You got it.
2 stops. 2 stops. 2 stops. That's it. That's the pass we got to take away.
Keep going, TA. Keep going. Tag. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up.
Nice. Billy. Yes, Billy. Weak side, you get sit down, all right? Ball's way over there.
You good.
Yeah, but the ball's way over there. Right when you're, what did Baby do? Baby help, what do? You get right down there, all right?
Follow the ball. See man the ball. You know what I'm saying? When the ball's over there, you got to sink but still see me.
They just got to learn it. Nice. That's 1 stop. You got to get 1 more. Eddie, I want you running it on offense.
Want to get on defense or something?
I think Billy should chase sometimes.
Watch out. Get ready, Bill.
Huh? Because we may use Billy catch.
Right.
Hey. Wait, Tom, wait.
I was lost
Let's
on that.
walk this over. Darius. Listen up. You went this way. If you throw it, what happens?
Step up.
It's a quick step up, all right? Don't forget, every once in a while he's going to see Billy start sinking in. It's a quick throw, bam, set the pick. Bam, we're off, all right?
Yeah, my bad.
That was their read. And it's automatic. It's no call. He's just going to throw it, okay?
Watch it.
Nice. Tony, you handle. Tell JR, you get Billy a rest. You take. Let's go.
Step in. He's trying to guard both of y'all.
Stack with him, JR. Stack with Leon. Leon, talk to him. Stack with him. Right there. JR, what are you doing over there? Have you not run this spot before? I'm asking you, have you run this spot before? All right, well, Billy, take JR's spot. I'll show it to you. Come over here. You just take JR's spot. You're on offense.
Hey, you want me to bump?
See, you're not in a stack, okay? You're reading where Eddie goes, okay? Now watch. Now you just go opposite. You see? That's all you're doing. You don't want to set the pick because in the early they'll switch that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Nice, nice. Billy, let him get you once. Green haven't stopped yet?
Tony got the ball.
I'm good.
I blew the whistle. I blew the whistle. All right. That's all right.
No, you got that
I
rebound.
didn't.
You got that rebound.
We got this.
No stop.
Eddie,
You got that
No stop.
let's play.
no stop.
Go get him.
Pick.
Nice, Darius. Watch out. Nice job. Yep. Yeah, the floppy is good right now. Oh. Raise a bit and floppy down. Huh? Oh.
Actually, good money in the season.
You're young kids. Maybe let him handle. No, that's what I'm saying. Maybe let him handle
Here
after
in
all.
Newport, Rhode Island, the Boston Celtics, they are on a mission to repeat in the NBA and raise the 18th banner to the rafters of the new Garden. We're coming back with much, much more right after this brief timeout. And we welcome you back to NBA TV Real Training Camp, Boston Celtics. And a look at the beauty. It is Boat City here in Newport, Rhode Island. We're on the campus of Salve Regina University here in Newport. It is the preseason home of the defending champion Boston Celtics. Rick Camlis.
That was Max's boat out there.
That was my boat.
That's his yacht.
And we had Max's houses.
My ex-wife has it now.
That's Cedric Maxwell. That, of course, is Danny Ainge, the general manager of the Boston Celtics and the reigning executive of the year, as we welcome you back to Newport for NBA TV's Real Training Camp. Danny, congratulations on the championship first and foremost, also on the award. There's only 2 members of the Boston Celtic organization that have ever won that award, as you know yourself, and Red Auerbach.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You did not know that?
No, Red was general manager for like 50 years. So
he had to win one of them, right?
No, it's a great honor. There's a lot of good general managers in our business, and we had a lot of good fortune this year.
No question about it. And you look ahead now to a potential repeat for your team. And, the task becomes more difficult without James Posey. And Cedric and I have talked about this. And, I'm curious, and I think a lot of people out there in TV land are curious, just some of the thinking that went into the offseason, specifically in regards to James Posey.
Well, we wanted James back. James was a big part of our team last year. And, I don't think we have a championship ring right now if it's not for James Posey. At the same time, we have a lot of faith in our young guys that can play. And we think Tony Allen is a terrific defensive player, a tough-minded guy like James. Doesn't shoot the 3 ball like James, but does a much better job of getting to the line and being a slasher. And those are things that we need. And Scalabrine has been a very good complementary player. In 11 starts last year, our defense was best when he was on the court, and he started in place of KG. We think that there's some things that he can do. Darius Miles is in camp right now, and he's looking really good. And our 2 young guys, I think, are going to be terrific defensive players right out of the gate. And it's going to take them a while to get their offense in tune.
Well, Danny, how is everybody doing right now, health-wise? So I know Perk right now had the surgery on his shoulder. He's coming back from that. Maybe not playing as much right now. But how is he going to be doing overall?
Well, I think that. Our big 3 are very healthy, and so that's been very encouraging. And Ray is a lot more healthy this year in camp than he was last year, coming off the ankle surgery. So he looks much fresher. Perk, I think, is the healthiest guy we have in the gym. He's just not playing. But he's rehabbing. He's in great shape. I think that we're just being cautious with him. He could play right now if it was game time, but we're just trying to buy as much time as we can just to lessen the chance of him re-injuring that shoulder or having to come out of socket.
Danny, I wanted to ask you, how do you get away from all these the boys, the boy, way to go, patting you on the back, and get the guys focused on what they have to do right now, because we hear it all the time. Well, congratulations, champ, way to go,
right.
You're on television, but sometimes teams become complacent. It starts at the top for your team, it seems like, with Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce not letting everybody get complacent.
Well, and I think Doc Rivers, I think that, those 4 guys are probably the key in setting the tone for our whole team. And I have a lot of confidence in those guys. I mean, Paul came in, Max, in better shape than he's been in 5 years. I mean, I haven't seen his body this trim, and his weight is down, lost 7 pounds since the end of last season. So I think that sets a tone to the
that
players.
Baby,
he's out here dunking.
You know what? That baby girl he had probably takes some of that too.
Maybe got him home at night a little sooner. And but no, he's worked extremely hard this summer. I mean, he's out here dunking in drills and dummy offense stuff I haven't seen him do for 2 or 3 years. So he's in great shape, and I think he's set a really good tone for us.
Now, the Darius Miles situation is fascinating for a variety of reasons. He has not played in 2 years, severe knee problems. He's still a young guy. Darius Miles is 26 years old. And, it's an interesting situation with 16 players being here in camp and Darius Miles being one of them. Talk about the thinking going into bringing in Darius Miles and what kind of future you think he has with your club.
Well, Darius selected us more than we selected Darius, and we had him on our charts as a guy that we would have some interest in. We watched him, brought him in for workouts. He looked excellent in the workouts. Not 100%, but we felt like, with the training camp, and if we were cautious with him and continued his rehab, that he had a chance of being a player that returning to the skills that he had before his injury. It's still too early to tell.
So for Darius Miles, has a ways to go, and an interesting situation with Portland where if he plays 10 games with your team or another team, then his salary that went off the books with Portland goes back on the books with Portland to the tune of $18 million over 2 years. That fascinates me, maybe even more than the fact that he could play and help your Boston Celtics.
Well, from what we've seen in September, Darius was working out with our guys, and what we've seen in training camp so far, if Darius truly wants to resume his career, I think that he can. I think that he will play 10 games somewhere, sometime, and hopefully with us. Hopefully he continues his progress, and there's a good story coming out of it.
Danny, you look at overall your picture now, you think about the veteran players you have, but talk about the young guys like Rondo. We saw him blossom into pretty much a star last year. It seems like he is a rising star, and it's only going to get better with age and knowing his position.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think all our young guys, Max, I think that the experience last year with Big Baby and Leon Poe and Kendrick Perkins and Rondo in particular, 4 guys that were playing a lot. And then Tony Allen, who didn't get as much, he was coming off the knee injury from the year before. I think all 5 of those guys are much better than they were last year. You can see the confidence. You can see it in the execution. I think that we're a much better team this year because of those guys, because Rondo is so much better and Perk is so much better right out of the gate.
So many things from your basketball club, but in particular what they did on the defensive end, stretching all over, making it hard, and always seemed like challenging shots. I've never seen a team challenge as many shots and rotate to the basketball as fast as I saw the Boston Celtics do it last year.
Yeah, I think that they set the tone. I think that the star players, we have a statistical thing that we do during the course of the season, and the best individual defensive player in the playoffs last year was Paul Pierce. And everybody knows of his great offensive prowess and so forth, but he was the best defensive player in the league last year. And just a statistical thing that we do, individual defensive. So, Paul has set the tone. KG set the tone. Ray is playing better defense than I've ever seen him play in other places he's been. And I think that's a credit to the players and the coaches that just make that a focus.
Danny, one more question for you, and it relates to the front office as well. And Patrick O'Brien, 2 years with Golden State. This guy was the 9th overall pick to Golden State a couple of years ago. Only played 40 games in 2 years with that team. What did you see in Patrick O'Brien, and what do you think he can give your team?
Well, we've just seen potential. I mean, the same thing Golden State saw in him. He had a lot of potential coming out of college. He was a very young player. He's about 25 to 35 pounds heavier than he was at that time, and And I think I like to get guys in that scenario where they've kind of failed, they haven't lived up, they've been labeled, and they're hungry and want to prove that they're better players. But he's had a very good training camp. We're very excited about him. If he were our #1 pick this year, we'd be thrilled from what we've seen of him so far this last month.
It just seems like, well, is there any gloom and doom at all in Boston Celtic world? Because
No, there's no gloom and doom. No gloom and doom.
Everybody just seems to be so happy. I mean, Danny, have you ever been in a city like Boston now that has just been loaded from team to team to team? It just seems like it's a love fest with all the professional teams, Red Sox, Celtics, I mean, Patriots. It's just been great.
Well, just wait. You know that doesn't last forever in Boston.
Why
but
are you?
We'll enjoy it while we're having it.
Thank you very much.
No, it's been fun. I mean, as a sports fan, I mean, I love football and I love baseball. It's been fun to watch the team succeed, and that puts pressure on us, which, you know, I think that's good for us. I think that's healthy for us to have to live up to the expectations of the other franchises, and hopefully, you know, we can set a standard that other teams have to live up to.
Well, Danny, it was a pleasure watching you on Turner Sports, doing a great job as an analyst, and obviously you've done a phenomenal job in your return to the NBA here with the Boston Celtics, winning Executive of the Year and helping this team win a championship, the 17th banner at the New Garden. So we appreciate your time.
All right, thanks.
Best of luck this upcoming season.
Guys.
All right.
Danny
Enjoy Newport.
Ainge, the czar of the Boston Celtics and the Executive of the Year. We're here in Newport, Rhode Island. It's NBA TV Real Training Camp, Boston Celtics. We're coming right back.
Pierce on the drive, gets inside.
The MVP of the 2008 NBA Finals is Paul Pierce.
And we welcome you back to
Giving me
NBA
chills.
TV Real Training
It
Camp.
makes me want to throw up.
The man, Paul Pierce, Finals MVP, getting chills watching highlights of the crowning moment of his career, winning the NBA championship. Paul, I mean, watching it, I was happy for you, Kevin, and Ray. I mean, the rest of the Celtics, obviously, but you dudes have been through the wars, multi-time All-Stars. You all sacrificed to win that championship, and it all came together for you in the first year you were together. It's an unbelievable story.
Yeah, you know, the funny thing is that, you know, people say, you know, it's going to take them a year to gel, then maybe in the second year, you know, they'll come together. Well, we did in the first year, now it's the second year, so we're trying to do it again.
Well, people talked about Paul Pierce, the offensive player, but then we saw Paul Pierce, the defender, against Kobe Bryant. Everybody knew that you could shoot the basketball, but it seemed like some people were surprised about what you did with Kobe defensively.
Well, when you got a lot more energy to spare on defense, knowing that you don't have to carry such an offensive load, it enabled me to expand my game a little bit more than I have in the past, where in the past I had to carry so much of the load offensively every night that, you know, you took breaks on defense, where with this team, I could play the all-around game and really put a lot of emphasis on defense, and that's where I try to thrive in, and now every year.
Well, I got to ask you, how'd it feel this summer? I mean, you know, I mean, you went home, and I know how it is when you're around your boys or you see other players. It just must have been unbelievable.
It was great. You know, it was more special just being around my family, watching them enjoy it with me, just seeing the looks on their faces, being around them, knowing that you reach the top. And, you know, it was just great, you know, all summer, winning the championship. So it's a great feeling, man, and we don't want that feeling to go away, so we're going to try to do it again.
So, Paul, let's rewind to Game 1 of the 2008 NBA Finals. We're all at the TD Bank North Garden watching it, all the anticipation of Lakers, Celtics, and then you go down with the knee injury. All right, and everybody in the arena is like, you got to be kidding me. We came all this way, and Paul's done in Game 1 of the Finals. You go in to the locker room, you know, we're all thinking the worst. What were you thinking at that point? Were you thinking the worst? And just talk about rising from the ashes when everybody thought it was over, and then you guys come back and you play hurt and you win the championship.
I definitely thought the worst. When I was laying there on the ground, I heard a pop in my knee, and I turned it, and you know, I've never injured my knee like that, so it was like, you know, a lot of things were going through my mind. You know, in the finals, Game 1, you know, not right now. You know, and then when I got back there, it was like, you know, I stood on it, put some weight on it, and it was just a little sore, so I felt like, you know, I could play through the pain, whatever it was, and deal with it later, and I was just happy that it wasn't worse than it was.
Now let me bring this up. One of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my life was some of the reaction after the injury, and Paul's playing it up, you know, Paul's doing this, Paul's doing that, and, you know, my reaction, dude was hurt. The dude is scared. He's never had a knee injury before. What is your reaction right now, having that shiny gold ring, and looking back on all those people who were saying, you know, Paul's doing this and Paul's doing that, and not really giving you the credit that you deserve for being legitimately hurt?
Well, people who know me, people who have been around me know that I play through a lot of pain, and I don't just fall to injury. And, you know, those are the ones who watched me throughout my career. So those people who say those things are people who probably watched me for the first time in the NBA Finals and, you know that I played through numerous injuries. So, you know, I just brushed that off, and you know, I'm happy that we won the championship.
I mean, it seemed like every game it was Paul Pierce going up against somebody else, and it got harder and harder. LeBron James, you see him, then you see Kobe Bryant. It just continued to get harder as you went towards the ultimate prize.
Well, that's what it takes when you win a championship. I mean, it's not an easy road. I mean, as you know, Max, you've won a couple championships. It's definitely not an easy road. So you played against the best in the NBA, and we came on top, and it's a great feeling knowing that all the hard work that we put in as a group, it really paid off.
When you talk about Red Auerbach and the memory of Red Auerbach, you lit up a cigar during, you know, that whole victory, and you thought about Red. It was very touching to see you thinking about the old man after you winning like that.
You know, the funny thing is, when Red would come to a game, he'd come in the locker room, and every time he came to the locker room, he gave me a cigar. Every time. And I grabbed the cigar and I said, you know, I'm going to light this up when we win a championship. And once we won it, I grabbed one of those cigars and I lit it up for Red.
But they also, the story goes on that you were on that the Swan boat, but you got sick with the cigar after all that party.
I'm not a cigar smoker, so I started puffing the cigar and got nauseated, and I let it all out. So hopefully we can make that a tradition.
Well, hey, you'll suffer a little nausea for a championship, right? And I know you're trying for the repeat. And Paul, we wish you nothing but the best of luck in doing that. You're a great dude. We've enjoyed covering you for years, and you got a lot of years left, my man. You got a birthday coming up, so happy birthday in advance.
The big 3-1. Thanks, guys.
All right, Paul Pierce, the reigning Finals MVP, 6-time All-Star, kind enough to join us here at the Boston Celtics training camp in Newport, Rhode Island. We've got a live scrimmage coming up for you in just a little bit. And welcome back to NBA TV Real Training Camp, Boston Celtics. Another beautiful scenic shot here of New England on the eastern seaboard. We're here in Newport, Rhode Island, on the campus of Salve Regina University. And there's students from this university. Some of them are here in the house right now. Those people right there, they won a raffle to be here for the Celtics scrimmage that's coming up in just a little bit. And a few minutes from now, these Celtics are going to be out here balling, and those students are going to be loving it. That is Cedric Maxey, Finals MVP circa 1981. So, you know what? And I'm Rick Hamill, by the way, but you've got 2 championship rings and a Finals MVP, and I know you and Paul Pierce are very competitive with one another, so you got that over, Paul. Well, you can say you don't have 2.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can say to him now. Paul Pierce is the MVP. He played particularly well. And you think about Paul Pierce, all the nuances of the game, shooting the basketball, now a huge defender. We'll go any further right now. Look at the drought right now that we're talking about of championships. The Boston Celtics win 1. Chicago had won 6. The Lakers, the hated Lakers, had won 5. San Antonio, Detroit had won 3. Houston 2. A great Hakeem Olajuwon, and even Miami won 1 with Shaq, but the Celtics had the longest drought.
22 years between
Not longer as the Hawks, though.
Not longer than the Hawks. Well, the Phoenix Suns have never won a championship, but you know, you think about, there were several dynasties in between the 1986 championship for the Celtics and then the 2008 championship for the Celtics. The Bulls had a dynasty. The Lakers won 3 in a row, 00, 01, 02. The San Antonio Spurs, 3 championships in 5 years, 4 championships over a 9-year stretch. It's just amazing that much time went by and that there was that much losing for this glory franchise, the Boston Celtics. And Cedric, you had a front row seat for a lot of that losing. And just take me back a couple of years ago. What was it, an 18-game losing streak in the 24-win season to last year winning 66 games? As you can see, the Celtics up scrimmaging behind us. Just talk about the turnaround and what it meant for the players, what it means for the fans of Boston.
Well, what it means for the fans of Boston, they just love it. You got a situation where you have a team that has always been one of the greatest teams around. And eventually, cream rises to the top. You get a chance to see some of this scrimmage as they run up and down. But what the Celtics have meant to this city and NBA basketball, this is the most storied franchise in the NBA. And for them to be down, when the Boston Celtics are healthy, the NBA is healthier to me because they've played so well and they've done so many things. I love it when I see the Celtics get back to the top because now you have this legion of Celtic fans, not the Larry Bird fans, not the Bill Russell fans, but the new legion of fans who now have their own heroes who they can embrace and say now they've won a championship.
Well, you can go anywhere in the country, you can go all over the world, and guess what jersey you will see on the backs of NBA fans all over this great planet? Number 5, Kevin Garnett, not to mention the other Celtics, but I see a lot of KG, number 5, in green all over the world. And right now, Cedric, you and I are just going to chill out with everybody else watching at home and watching here at the on the campus of Salve Regina University and watch the Celtics ball.
There we go.
Go get it, Pat. Oh, my fault, T. Yo! The pass ticket. What you got? Oh, good. Oh, there you go. I got ball.
O'Brien with a miss a moment ago, but the Reclamation Project from Golden State with a jumper and a block on Big Baby. Looking good here at Salve Regina University. We're coming right back. Welcome back to NBA TV Real Training Camp. Boston Celtics, Rick Kamla and Cedric Maxwell here at Salve Regina University. And they are getting after it. Paul Pierce, a controversial goaltend call out a block a moment ago. He just blocked rookie Bill Walker. And they are really, really fired up for this scrimmage right here. They look ready.
Well, that's the thing about a championship team right now rises to a certain level, and they stay at that level. And the Boston Celtics want to maintain focus in practice, knowing that they're going to get better in the game. Paul Pierce is a competitor. Kevin Garnett, a competitor. All these guys, all they want to do is really just let it go downhill, all the emotional juices, all the things that they want to do as players, and teach while they're out on the floor. That's the most important time to do it. And Kevin Garnett preaches about that all the time. Young players taught him. Malik Sealy taught him how to do it. He passed away tragically, but Malik Sealy was pretty much a teacher for Kevin Garnett, and Kevin Garnett has passed that down to other players. It's a legacy now.
And Cedric, for those who don't understand, as we have a little break in the action here, 4:50 to go in this scrimmage, for Kevin Garnett, some people don't understand out there how intense he is every day of every practice. If he has a cold, he plays through it. If he has a turned ankle, he plays through it. And I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about practice.
Kevin Garnett does not let anything waver when it comes to practice because he feels like he's going to get better. The more you put into practice, the better he said he's going to be. I was just the opposite. The more I put into practice, the worse I felt like I was going to be. Larry Bird was another guy just like Kevin Garnett. Practice hard all the time, and I think those results speak for themselves. Certain players, as you said before, are guys who get after it in practice, and certain other players like myself, coaches have to get after me in practice. But I like the situation what the Celtics are doing right now. Perk right now, I want to see a little bit more of him. Rondo looks like he's in game shape. And as you said, Ray Allen just looks like he's in impeccable shape right now. Coming back, losing a little weight, and just really just wanted to come and play.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm excited for right now. Number 7 in green, Darius Miles, is on the court playing with KG, his good buddy, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and also Rajon Rondo. So he's in there with the green team, which is the first team. And, there are students here from Salve Regina University. They want to raffle. These are the lucky few that were allowed in here. Very, very limited amount of seats for this scrimmage. And they're here making a lot of noise in support of their Boston Celtics.
Eddie House, just a pure jump shooter. Comes off, gives you that little up fake, and if you don't go for it, Eddie shoots it so quick that, you know, it's already gone. That time the defender goes up, gets him in the popcorn popper, and he knocks down the jump shot.
Oh, rubbed out by Glenn Davis, but a goaltend is called. The bucket to KG.
I'll tell you what, if he had called Kevin Garnett maybe 4 years ago, that was dunked all day. As you get a little bit older, the ground kind of gets to you. You can just see him at the end. And Big Baby is a guy who himself has lost some weight, has come back in real good shape. People talk about his eating habits. Well, I think he's found, like, if he's going to stay in the NBA, he's going to have to do it with conscious practice.
Are you trying to tell me that the great Kevin Garnett is having issues with gravity?
The great Kevin, great Dr. J, the great Moses Malone, the great everybody, Michael Jordan, as you got older, Father Time, he comes in, and gravity does have a tendency to take over.
Our good buddy Rick Mahorn likes to say, God only gives you so many jumps.
Well, let me tell you about Rick Mahorn. He didn't have any jumps. God stole it from him, okay? Here's another guy that we're going to love to see. Gabe is a guy who wants to shoot the basketball. Is a guy last year on the basketball club, and he went to the D-League, but really performed well in the D-League. And Tony Allen, who's guarding Paul Pierce, I really want to see that matchup because Tony is a guy that they talked about before who's going to have to give you those kind of minutes that James Posey gave you last year on the offensive end and the defensive end.
Cedric, Tony Allen recently told a reporter or a group of reporters, I truly believe that I am a better player than Pose. Your thoughts?
My thoughts would be that also, you know, my mom and dad didn't pay for any of that stuff for Christmas. Santa Claus just dropped it on in. I think you have to think that way as a player, that you're going to get out, you're going to perform well. But, you know, I think he has a little ways to go right now when you start thinking about him. There's a huge ovation right now for Ray Allen. Sugar Ray knocks down his first of many jump shots this year.
Rattled that one home, showing you the Hall of Fame touch. Gabe Pruitt stuck with the rock for a moment, and there are 4 point guards on this roster. And it sounds like all 4 of them are going to make this team, Cedric.
Well, they're out to compete. And we don't know, you know, at the end of the day, injuries kind of take over. Rondo is out for a little bit. Gabe will probably have to come in and play a little bit more. They're looking at Eddie House, you know, playing a little bit point guard. Sam Cassell right now has a contract. He's a guy who's going to try to come in and get some minutes. It's not a guaranteed contract, but he wants to come in and get his situations where he's able to play. So you're going to carry some people. There are going to be injuries. And the thing I always tell any young player, don't worry about your minutes, because in the NBA, you will eventually get an opportunity. It's what you do with that opportunity that counts. My dad said it all the time. He would preface that by me cutting the grass. You only get so many opportunities to cut it. I don't want an opportunity. That was his thing, but these guys will get opportunities, and all they have to do is cash in.
You're like, Dad, you cut the grass. You want all these opportunities, right?
My dad would look at me. My dad was a Vietnam veteran. That's the last thing he was thinking about, cutting grass. Like, son, I fought for you. I'm not cutting no grass.
Leon Poe, a power move. Rondo tracks it down. I think there's a triple-double, at least one, in that dude's future this year.
Oh, there's no question. Rondo is a machine, really. He's able to shoot the basketball. He's very effective. And that's the Tony Allen that everybody grew to love over the last couple of years. Tony Allen had a devastating knee injury a couple of years ago, now kind of rounding back, wore a brace last year. And what it does is mentally. Physically, what happens, your knee heals. But with most athletes, it becomes more of an emotional scar, a hurdle that you have to get over. This is the year that I look at Tony Allen getting over that emotional hurdle and bring that physical together and hopefully performing at a high level like he did before he got injured.
And what an unfortunate injury. After the whistle, goes up for an icing on the cake dunk, comes down wrong and tears his ACL. That is you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, and you see Tony there with that steal we talk about again. great quickness, great anticipation, and that's what you love about him. That is some of the things that he could do that maybe a guy like James Posey with his quickness wouldn't be able to do.
Eddie House looks great out here.
You know, when Eddie House is shooting the basketball, Eddie House always feels like he's great. Paul Pierce, that's a patented move. He breaks you down, he steps back with that jump shot. Very few people in the league can even challenge you like that, and that is Kobe-ish. Is that a word? Can we use that, Kobe-ish? So people know what we mean.
Cedric, you're a two-time NBA champion. You have your jersey retired by this great organization, and you're a former Finals MVP. I am not going to second-guess your word choice if you want to add ish to Kobe. That is not something I'm going to do.
Okay, my friend, we'll say that. And you just see the Celtics again just to get a little sloppy, and Doc Rivers wants quickly. He said he did not want to see all the turnovers. He talked about that in the beginning of practice, of keeping the basketball and making sure you didn't have lazy passes, looking the ball into your hands, catching the ball. And this is the opportunity for Doc right now. This is probably as still as you will see him during this time and not during the regular season. It gets a little ugly out there, and now the players are getting a little excited about getting down and talking some junk. This is something you might get a little bit more of seeing.
Wow, I love it. And you know who's right in the center of it? The ultra-competitive Kevin Garnett.
There's no question about it. I mean, I'm sure that we have that mute button going right now with Kevin Garnett because some choice words will always come his way. But Kevin Garnett plays full tilt. It's never like, like some players would get out, just lazily coming into play. And you can see Kevin always sweating. And he wears like these leggings and all these other things just so he can sweat that much more.
Well, he's got the long sleeve shirt on, and it's not like Kevin needs to shed any weight. He is in tip-top shape all the time. Our original programming with NBA TV covered him, running on the beaches in California, and this dude just never stops working, and he's very, very motivated to get a repeat this year. That guy right there is not complacent, winning just one championship.
That man's a beast. He's absolutely a beast, and that was one of the comments I made early on. Talked about Kevin Garnett in respect to the Boston Celtics legacy and where he might stand. And I made a comment. I said, a little controversial, I said that Kevin Garnett might be the second best Celtic of all time. And I said behind Bill Russell, but maybe slightly better than even Larry Bird. And I said that only because Kevin Garnett is more of a complete player. What he does on the defensive end, to me, separates him from almost any player in the NBA.
And Kevin Garnett, truly a remarkable guy. I mean, how many years in a row did he go 20-10-5? And you think of the guys who consistently did that for periods of their careers. You think of Larry Bird. You think of Dr. J. You think of Wilt Chamberlain. You think of Kevin Garnett. I mean,
those are Hall of Fame names.
That's unbelievable. That's like Ruth, Aaron, Mays, Mantle. You know what I mean? That is the best of the best.
It takes on that respect, and we get a chance. This is an isolated situation at the top, and I guess the white team just lets it run out because I felt they were ahead. And Doc Rivers, it gets competitive because one thing Doc does sometimes with these guys, the losing team sometimes has to get out and run, and it makes it that much more competitive.
One more final thought here before we wrap up. P.J. Brown, retired for how long? Do you see him coming back maybe February, March, late in the season like he did last year? But everybody's leaving the door open.
P.J. Brown, you know what? I think he's down in Louisiana someplace having some gumbo, eating some shrimp, having some crab, just living life. He won the championship. It was a great situation for him, a great situation for the Boston Celtics. But I'll tell you what, PJ, come back. That's free money, son. You can win another championship. It's hard out here in the real world.
Well, P.J. Brown's a phenomenal guy, and P.J., if you're watching, we wish you well and congratulations on that championship. Cedric, it has been a blast, my friend, hanging out with you here and bringing the Celtics story to everybody out there watching on NBA TV.
Well, thank you for having me. We had a great time today, and hopefully, again, I'll see you down the line, and this was a fantastic thing. I hope the fans enjoyed it and got a lot to see of the Boston Celtics today.
Yeah, we gave them an inside look. That is Cedric Maxwell, a.k.a. Cornbread, two-time NBA champion, and we are done from Newport, Rhode Island, and we sign off from Salve Regina University. Doc Rivers and the Boston Celtics look good. They look primed for a repeat. This has been NBA TV's Real Training Camp Boston Celtics. We'll see you in New York for the Knicks on Monday morning.